Hey, Dr. Doula here. Look, this just must be a week where I feel like sharing. And so I am going to, every time something comes to my heart, I'm going to share. So today I was thinking, I read this email from someone, I think it was maybe Monday. And it excited me so much. I love when I'm challenged to think about things in a different way. I just am one of those that believe that we have this mind, this creativity, and that we can learn at any age in life. And when we have the imagination of a child, because I'm always going to be caping for our babies, and that's what this talk is about again today. When we have the imagination of a child, when we're willing to be childlike, not childish, it's amazing. So I read this email and it was talking about the confidence of innocence. I love when I've never heard of something before. I love it. It just excites my heart. And when it makes sense to me, I'm like, the heavens have opened. Spirit has given me an answer and I love it. So I'm going to share it with you. I want to suggest that more than just our children being gifts, like children are a gift from God. Children are a gift from the Creator. We know that, right? Okay. I believe, I'm going to go a little deeper. I believe that children are here to help us. See how I can say this. To help us achieve, like we think of the responsibility that comes from being and having children, but there's something that they're bringing to us. I talked about, I think yesterday, about this love that they don't do anything to receive this love. Well, there's this other thing. There are other things that they do too. And one of the things about children is that they have this confidence of innocence. So I'm going to read this to you really quick so you can get just the gist of what I'm saying. The confidence of innocence is what we have when we don't make any assumptions about what we can or can't do. It's what children have before they form limiting beliefs. This kind of confidence allows you to pursue new projects or ideas without evidence of your ability. Stop playing with me. You can start playing like life like a joyful game. We can regain this innate confidence when we eliminate limiting beliefs. So here's what I'm saying. Good morning, Lisa. Hey, girl. I believe that our children are here to remind us of the innocence we had when we didn't believe what we could not do. Think about having babies. When you have babies around, they will, even to start walking, they know they're going to walk and they're going to fall. They're going to walk and they're going to try to pull up and they're going to hit the ground. All these things. There's an innocence. There's something in them that says you are supposed to be able to do this thing. But we go on with life, and little by little, life happens. And as life happens, we start doubting what we can do. Instead of that fall, that thing being, hey, I got to get up and try it again, it's, oh, I fell, I hurt myself, I'm not supposed to do that. I failed, they laughed at me, I'm not supposed to do that. Now, in all fairness, when the babies get up to try to walk, we're all sitting there like, yay! And so people are cheering. Right? Come on now. I love the babies. I love the children. It's part of the reason why I do the birth work, because the babies are reminding me and us of so many things. But when babies make mistakes, they try to feed themselves and they end up putting it up their nose, and their fine motor skills have not developed and they're making a mess. We are so proud that they are trying to feed themselves. They have made the biggest mess in the world. Hey, girl, okay, good. On my day back from days up. Ah, girl, get on the grill. I'm coming to see you. I love you, girl. We have made such a thing of mistakes that we no longer have our innocence. And so rather than thinking, if you thought like this instead, for example, think like this. Anyone that you see around here walking had to start by crawling, had to start by falling, had to start by whatever. Anyone that's around here walking, anyone who's around here walking has had failures at a young age. I don't care whether they started walking like a miracle at 6 or started walking when they were 2 years old. It doesn't matter. Anyone that's around here that is walking has made errors. And when they fell, they got back up. And when they fell, these little legs, yes, we say, oh, I remember saying this as, babies are made of rubber and they just roll out. I mean, so many things happen to babies. They fall and it's like, ooh, and they got all these extra joints and bones. And it's like we make reasons and say, well, that's why the baby can do it, because it's not going to hurt the baby. Hey, Rita, it's not going to hurt the baby. The baby's not going to be hurt by falling. It doesn't mean that we're not supposed to still look at them and remember what it's like to not be afraid to do something that we've never done. They're coming here never having used those little legs. They're coming here. Listen, language. That little video, the little boy, and people made dance songs. Baby, that baby was talking. The one in the snow with the little snowsuit. And he just was, he was saying something and nobody knew what, but it was intent and it was meaningful. That was his first attempts at language, and we all made up whatever we thought he was saying. But I remember when I was trying to learn Spanish and Zulu and all of these languages, I did not want to fail. It's the craziest thing. I would see people who were around and they would just be trying to speak. But for me, I was Dr. Mason. Dr. Mason is not going to sound like a child. I remember my language partner would be like, necesitas, I forget the word. He said, you have to dare yourself. You have to go for it. You have to try. I did not like looking incompetent. I did not like. My ego was taking a hit every single time that I tried to say a word. And, ¿cómo se dice? Quiero, and I was taking a hit. I'm Dr. Mason. Okay. I've defended a whole dissertation. I'm smart, because that's the thing I wrote out. I'm smart. Why would I put myself back in this situation where people are going to look at me like I don't know how to speak? Because we must have the confidence of innocence. We must be like a child with some things in order to get better. I remember my husband was telling me once, he was saying how like Tiger Woods, here he had won all these things, but he felt like he hit a plateau. And so he retrained himself in how he swung his golf club. And initially nothing worked. Now here's a person that if I do what I know, then I know I can get it to go in. I know I can make it win. But when we have a skill set, hey cousin, when we have a skill set and we're like, no, I'm riding out on what I know. I'm riding out on what I know I'm good at. We lose something when we're not willing to fall down again. And our babies come into our world and they struggle to speak this language, whatever language it is that you speak. They struggle and they say the words wrong. And we listen to know what they're saying. And eventually they perfect it. They struggle to walk and fall down. And they get up, pull up, and they do it again. There's an innocence. What did I read you before? This is Shelley Lefkoe. It's this person I listened to. I found so much freedom when I understood that it's the meaning that I'm giving things that make them a certain way. And she's continuing the legacy of her husband who's transitioned and passed on. But the assumptions of what we can and can't do is because we've lived here now. The assumptions we make is because we fell down. The assumptions we make and the limitations we put on ourselves is not often, it's not always because someone told me I couldn't do a thing. Sometimes it's because I tried that 20 years ago. I'm speaking to myself. I tried that 20 years ago. It didn't work. 20 years ago, I was in my 30s. Listen, I tried that. It didn't work. Well, when did you try it? I tried it whenever. Imagine if our babies were trying to walk and when they fell down, they just stopped and they never tried to walk again. That's not how it works. Anyone, if you're listening to me now, anyone, if you can walk or have ever walked, it meant you had also fallen down and chosen to try again. You fell down and you chose to try again. You fell down and you chose to try again. So when we see our babies, when we see them trying, I was talking about the other day about, the words we use to talk about them. Are they bad? Are they this or that or the other? No, there's a confidence that they have. There's a confidence, and they're not making assumptions about what they can or cannot do. There's this beautiful to have self-confidence. It's beautiful, right? But then it limits you if that's the thing that you're leaning on and depending on to tell you how good you are. There has to be something else. There has to be something else. And what Creator does is brings us these little packages. See, I do get discouraged sometimes when I hear people talk about, having children as only a thing of populating the earth. It's only involved in, expanding a family or legacy. Energetically, spiritually, these babies come to remind us of what we can do when they fall down and they get up. They're reminding us. They're saying, hey, yeah, you're going to fall, but get up. And don't act like, look, as we get older, yes, our bone structures change and everything. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not talking about, someone had an issue, but even those who have had illnesses, those who've gone through physical therapies, if they didn't try and get up and try and allow the assistance to help, would they ever walk again? What is it that you had a failure with that told you in your mind at whatever age, I can't do that? But all the evidence, all the things that Creator puts around you is saying, try it again. Try it again. Try it again. I'm reminded of a story in the Bible. Which one was it? I was just reading it. Sometimes I get these parables all mixed up. But when Jesus told the fishermen to go, it's not a parable. When they said go, launch out. And they said, no, we've been out there. We've been fishing already. Now, these are master fishermen. None of us want somebody to come and tell us what to do when we listen. I know how to fish is what I do. I don't need you to come and tell me how to fish. Go out again. No, I've been there all night. I know what I'm doing. This wasn't a good night for us to catch anything. But when the master, when spirit, all that is saying, go back out, throw your net back out, throw it over here. When we're willing to do that, amazing things happen, because it takes a lot more for us to try when we have failed already, especially if it's at the thing that we thought we were good at. I thought I was good at this, and it didn't work. I did try already. I went back out there, still nothing. But now, all that is saying, go out there again. Go out there again. Launch out again. Because your self-confidence can only take you so far. Our children come. Next time you see a little one, what is it that they're trying to do that you're constantly seeing them, quote unquote, not be successful or fail at? that you see them get back up and try to do again. I remember my oldest, he was like 5. And I was always making, in their homeschool, I was always making these creative things. So I had taken pictures of them and put them and made like a mobile and hung it by the light fixture. So I really didn't need him to touch it, but it was secure. It was pictures hanging down of them. But I guess it was low enough where he felt like he could reach it. And he was piling things up to try to reach the photos. I was less skillful as a parent then. And I was like, Gina, don't do that. That's not safe. He was going to fall, whatever. And I was like, don't do that. And I would go and he would try again. And he would put something else up that could reach higher. And he was climbing to try to reach this light fixture. And I said, do not do that. It's not safe. Leave it there so it can be pretty. Leave it. And he tried it like 3 or 4 times. And I finally just took it down. He wanted to see it. He wanted to hold it. Okay, fine. But I'm like, you're going to hurt yourself. But it didn't keep him from trying. What is it that's keeping you from trying? What is it that's keeping you from refining the thing that you wanted to do and trying it again? What is it? Is it that, the people that you thought would be with you aren't anymore? Is it that you were betting on a certain kind of thing that didn't come through for you? What is it? What is it that still burns in your heart, but you haven't yet, you don't trust yourself anymore? As far as self-confidence goes, you don't have confidence in your ability to do that. For some people, it's relationships. For some people, every relationship is evidence of what you're good at or not. One of the reasons why I love to consider the heavens and study the heavens is because it's a reminder that we all are different people. We're all different. What works for one person won't work for another. And so when you base your relationships and your success in them just based on one that especially you don't understand, it can be quite challenging to move past that. But at some point, you have to have the confidence of innocence. You have to have enough innocence to say, I'm going to try this again. If you go into your relationships and you are basing it off of the past 5 and whatever it was that didn't go right, I can promise you that you're going to have so many walls up. You're going to have so many things that are limiting you that you're not going to be able to be as effective in creating a relationship that you want to have. There has to be an innocence that comes back into our worlds, and our children are there to remind us. They are there to remind us of that hug. They still want that hug. They still want that love. And I understand that for us, that feels very vulnerable. It does not feel good. That doesn't feel good. Why would it feel good for me to put myself, that's how I say it, put myself out there again? I want to put myself out there again. Well, if you're going to do the thing, see, we admire all these people. We see all these people and they're like, oh, look at that. And look at this person. And they got all these whatevers. There has to be an innocence that returns to us in order for us to find success. If every race you just don't win and you run 3 races, that's evidence I can't do better than that. And someone says, well, I can show you some techniques that might help you, or I can offer you this, and you're not willing to take it. No, you probably won't find that success. It requires us to be willing to have the innocence again. And when we look at our babies, look at our little ones, look at what they're willing to do to be a part of this lived experience. Look at what they're willing to do. Look at what our babies are willing to try and try and try. Because they believe I'm supposed to be able to move just like that big person. What is it that you're willing to try again? To move past your fears, to move past all of what you know you do really well. Are you telling me that the things that you learned that you did really well in your 20s, that's all you're going to ever try to do? That's quite a limiting existence. So only the things that you know that you can do and that you do good the first time, that's all that you're going to try to do. That's going to feel a certain way. Why not just allow yourself to experience innocence again? Why not allow yourself to get additional feedback? Why not allow yourself to see the ways you've grown? What if that previous experience was evidence that there were areas that you needed to grow in? Like when the little ones try to walk and their little muscles aren't strong enough yet. What if it wasn't failure? What if it just there was a need for more strengthening? What if there was a need for someone to stabilize you, a coach to hold your hands and help you walk your way? What if that was the case? What is it that you are going to allow your innocence to return to? What is it that you're going to allow yourself to experience again with the innocence of a child? Because as long as we're breathing, as long as we're taking in our breath, we're supposed to be growing. We're supposed to be expanding. We're supposed to be moving, evolving, growing. We're not supposed to be stopping. And mine won't look like yours. But we're not supposed to be stagnant. Who wants to even swim in stagnant water? Stagnant water? Nobody wants that. And stagnant water begins to stink. You don't know everything you're going to know. If you feel like, well, I'm just at an age where things are what they are, okay, that's your belief that you're saying, but there's evidence around you to show that that's not a universal truth. There are people that learn all kinds of things at all kinds of ages. And that's the opportunity that you have as well. Blessings to you as you seek to allow that confidence of innocence to return to you. Not because of all of your accomplishments, your trophies, your plaques on your wall, and all the ways people say you're great, but because of the greatness that still resides in you that is waiting to come forth. Ah, beautiful. Confidence of innocence is greater than your self-confidence that's based on what you've already done. Blessings.